So, what is failure, and do you believe in failure? That's a question I want to put out. Do you believe in failure? When I hear someone say, I don't believe in failure, I think that can mean a multitude of things. And here's me talking from the side. While you could be saying, I try to learn from my mistakes, I try to grow from them, turn it into a positive if I can. You could be saying, I don't believe in beating myself over the head. You could also be saying, I refuse to acknowledge my failures. Acknowledging that something didn't work out doesn't mean that you're putting yourself down. You don't grow unless you have room to grow heights you haven't yet reached. I mean, say that you're having someone over for dinner. You're making them dinner, and you burn it. There's too much salt. It's ruined. You can't even, the smell. You throw it in your neighbor's yard. But you fucked up. Now maybe you end up taking her to a restaurant, someplace you've never been. You have a wonderful time. It becomes, the two of you, your place. You fall in love that night. And you can look back and say, I'm glad that happened. But that doesn't mean that you didn't fuck up the dinner. It just means that, I don't even know why I brought that up. It's not like God didn't burn your quiche. See, that was a failure to make a point. It's one thing to have faith in yourself. It's another thing to be a cult of yourself. Certainly you see these kind of people in publishing. It's never their fault if they fuck something up. If they get a rejection, someone else made a mistake. A rejection, that's a failure. It's a failure. You failed to impress that editor or editors enough to be accepted. But you can try and you turn it into a positive. If they give you any critique, you take that into consideration. You go back and look at the story, and maybe you don't end up changing anything. Maybe you decide to just send it back out, try another market. I mean, when I get a rejection, it always sucks. It's always a letdown. I'm never glad. Even if it turned out that you dodged a bullet by avoiding getting involved with somebody who turns out to be of questionable character, it's not like that was your master plan. So, don't be a dick. Acknowledging that something didn't work out doesn't mean that you're putting yourself down. There's a difference between humility and self-deprecation. Now I'm on the floor. Someone I respect a lot paid me a couple of very nice compliments once about something I'd written, and I made my replies were sort of self-deprecating jokes, and I thought that I was you think that you're being sort of humble and endearing, but I think I don't know if I actually hurt that person's feelings, but I did basically say, no, you're wrong to think I'm any good. And I know a lot of other really, really tremendous writers who have that same problem with success and with any measure of appreciation, just trouble taking compliments. Refusing to believe that you can fail at something or that exists, that's arrogant.